Good morning, everybody. 131 Outdoors here. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about what I put in my bag for outdoor trips. Whether it is bushcrafting or backpacking or just a good backwoods camp out, doesn't really matter. This is usually what I will take with me. There is some variance. It is not an ultralight setup. That will be a completely different video. But I will tell you right now, this is going to have everything you need to not only survive, but thrive out in the wild. So in this video, I'm going to cover the items that I carry that are going to help me address the four main needs of survival: food, fire, water, and shelter. I carry these items with a backup as well, because you never know when something is going to break and you want to be prepared. Because one of the biggest things you need to equip yourself with going into the outdoors is preparedness. You need to know what you're getting into and how to handle things that you may not have seen coming. As I'm sure you can tell, we are set up in my garage right now. I'm not outdoors. This video was just easier to do in my garage. So I'm going to start digging into some of the things that I carry with me. Again, looking at those four main categories, and I do have some things that are miscellaneous items that help with all of it. The first one I want to talk about is food, okay? I actually have a whole cook kit set up that I carry with me. The majority of my food kit fits in this bag, okay? Being consolidated is a very huge thing when you're trying to fit everything into a backpack. Now, I do slide this down into my pack. This is huge, okay? Not only is it nice to have a cutting board out there, but you also can use it as a plate, and it's comes in handy. This kit. You'll notice in this bag, I have little skillet underneath it. I would prefer this to nest, but the kettle is a larger kettle, which I prefer. That way I can boil more water at a time. But this still works really well. Works really well, super lightweight, fits right in the bottom of this mesh bag. And then inside is where I have all the important stuff for my cook kit. I have this, which is a foldable camp stove. Goes on one of those little isobutane bottles. Like I had said at the beginning, some of these things are backups. That's exactly what this thing is. This is a backup. In here, I have paracord, because you never know when you're going to need the cordage. And it just fits nicely in here. It's not necessarily for cooking, although you can take some of that paracord and make a tripod to go over your fire and then hang your pot to where you can adjust the height. In here I have my kitchen knife, which is an Opinel folder, one of the sharpest knives I've ever handled in my life. This is an amazing little find. You'll find the link in the description below. This knife is mind-blowing. I love this knife. And it locks to stay closed. Very handy. Also in here, a folding spork, and then I have a backup ferro rod. A backup ferro rod. I'll get to that. All that goes back into here. I like to stay organized as much as I can. I have spices. I don't like bland food if I can avoid it, though sometimes you don't have a choice. So I bring this little thing. It was, I don't know, $5 or $6. I have a lid for a boil cup that my water bottle nests into. I keep it in here so that I know where it is at all times. All of this just fits nicely into this and saves a whole ton of room. But that's my cooking. Again, for food, I've got the skillet, a cutting board, and then my whole kit here in my pot. In my kettle. Now this is a 2.2 liter kettle. This and the skillet are anodized aluminum. I don't use Teflon. I'm not a huge fan of it. There's a lot of reasons why. I just find that this anodized aluminum is nice and lightweight, and it is plenty non-stick for my uses. So, getting on to fire. So we've done the food. Now we need a fire, okay? Fire is pretty straightforward. I did show you one spot where I already have a backup ferro rod. I don't really use lighters that much, though sometimes I will bring like a little Bic lighter if I need to. Again, it's nice to have a backup. But for fire, this is my baby, okay? I've had this thing for a very long time. You can see there's a lot of grooves already in it. This thing strikes like a beast, okay? This, on the back of the saw that I have, just showers sparks. I've started so many fires with this thing. I actually did a little short explaining these 3 items, okay? This Rex Betty 11-inch blade folding saw, 2 positions, locking blade. This thing is amazing. It's amazing. I've cut so much wood with this. It's still as sharp as the day I got it. Very underrated buy. This is a 6-inch by 1/2-inch ferrocerium rod. This thing you're going to have for a very long time. And then this is the Mora Robust. A lot of bushcrafters regard this as one of the best budget camp knives you can get. This is a carbon steel blade. This is very stout, very thick, very sharp, and I've only ever had to hone the edge a couple times. So I'll bring this with me on every single trip. I don't ever leave this one back at home when I'm going on a trip. Mora makes some amazing knives. They've been doing it for over 115 years, and they make them inexpensive. Not cheap, inexpensive. Always take a Mora knife with me. So, not sponsored, though I wouldn't say no. So now we've got our food and fire taken care of. Water. Obviously, I've got the kettle I can boil water in. I have a life straw as a backup. This one is so much of a backup that I don't even consider this to be part of my water kit. I have this as part of my emergency/miscellaneous stuff. So I'll put that over with that stuff for now. But right now, I've got a gravity bladder with hose and filter, all in this little Ziploc it came in. But I also have a metal water bottle that's single wall insulated. You do not want a double wall insulated metal water bottle to boil water in. It's not going to go well for you. So I'll bring either this one, or I don't bring both of these because it's a lot of weight. Or I will bring this plastic bottle with this boil cup that I've already told you about. This pot is a 25-ounce stainless steel with folding handle, and it's got a lid on it. So it nests perfectly, and you can cook inside this thing. If you're looking to trim weight, that's a great one to take instead of the full kettle and skillet setup. You just have to be mindful of what food you're bringing. So that's the water. I've got the filter, I've got the kettle for boiling, and I've got the bottle for shelter. I put my sleep equipment in with the shelter equipment. So obviously, first, I have this sleeping bag. This is not as small as this goes. I just got lazy. This one packs down pretty small, nice and compact. It'll go smaller than this. I'm just not doing it right now. Next, I have my pillow. Okay, this one also goes much smaller than this, but this is a nice little inflatable pillow. Definitely gotta have that. I'm a side sleeper, gotta have my pillow. This is a hammock, okay? I have used this on so many trips. The thing about this hammock is it folds into itself, okay? The bag that you see outside of this actually turns into the pocket on the side of it that you can put your stuff in. So I'll put my everyday carry stuff, my knife, my fire steel, that sort of stuff. I'll put that into the pocket of this. This is a 2-person hammock. It's got the adjustable straps that you clip onto this. This is a sleep pad where the bag on the outside of it has a port that connects to it. You fill this up with air and you squeeze it. You inflate the bed that way. This thing is amazing. But it is not comfortable. It is basically meant to insulate you from the ground. So what I will do if I am camping in my hammock is I will put this lightly inflated into my hammock and give a little bit of cushion on the bottom of it, just for a more comfortable night's sleep. It kind of gives a little bit more rigidity to it. So this is more to add to the comfort of the sleep. When you're out on the trail, poor sleep can ruin the next day. So that is a must for me. I always take that. It's not that heavy. I'll definitely take that one. This one, I love this thing. This is a 10 by 10 tarp. Okay. It's not ultralight. This is not an ultralight tarp. This is thick. This is some thick material. This thing is durable and somewhat reflective on the inside. It's going to help to reflect the heat from the fire so that your shelter stays way more warm than it would if you didn't have that. Then I picked this up. You've all seen these. I actually got this one from a Goodwill. I'm not even kidding. It was still in the plastic. This is just your normal foam egg carton kind of pad. But I will actually attach this to the bottom of my pack so that it doesn't take up any room inside it. It's lightweight, it's super lightweight, and it can make a massive difference with your comfort around camp. So here we've got our shelter items that we keep in mind as well. We've got this pad, tarp, inflatable sleep mat, hammock with adjustable straps, inflatable pillow, sleeping bag. There's a few things that I keep on the outer pockets so that I can make sure that I can access them easily if I need to. One, I will always keep on the outside pocket is a poncho. Now, this is the kind of poncho. See, it's got these grommets on the edges. That way, if you need to make a shelter in a hurry, you can. And it all just folds up, sticks into this bag. But yeah. Here you've got, it's not small, so the shelter would actually not be too uncomfortable to sleep in. So, you fold it up, roll it real tight, right into this cinch sack. Like so. Stays nice and small. Okay? That's the first miscellaneous / emergency item that I have. Another that I have is an emergency bivvy. Now, I don't know if you guys know what these are. These are basically just bags that go around you while you're trying to sleep. It's like a sleeping bag, but waterproof. As you can see, it almost looks, it's like a shiny plastic because it is incredibly waterproof. It also is somewhat insulated, like an emergency blanket, so that it keeps you warm. This is very much an emergency thing. The one that I got was in a 2-pack, so I have this in my pack, and then I have one in my wife's. This also has a whistle in case you need a signal whistle, and then it has this little compass. Okay. Again, I have the life straw that I talked about earlier. This is so insanely light that it really doesn't hurt anything to have on you, especially if you're on a long through hike. That's also in my emergency / miscellaneous. I do also have just a thin, cheap poncho. These are incredibly handy to have just in case. They weigh almost nothing, and you never know when you're going to need something like that. There are so many uses for that. It's crazy. I have a headlamp. This is just one cheap one that I got from Harbor Freight, but it works. It works well. Okay. Nice and bright. And it was very inexpensive. I have a tactical flashlight that has signaling mode on it in case you need it. I have my sunglasses that are polarized, and then I have this balaclava. Okay, this is just a thin one made for summer wear, but it is really just to keep bugs off you, because sometimes when you're sleeping and they're like crawling in your ears and everything, it's going to ruin your quality of sleep. You're not going to like that. Now, obviously, like I said, this is not an ultralight setup. If it were an ultralight setup, I would be worried more about these little things and whether I actually needed them. But it's not. I know that this pack is going to weigh me about 35 pounds whenever I go out there. I don't necessarily take this on very long through hikes. If I do, I'm going to edit down some of the stuff that I take in there. But to show you how all this goes into this pack, this is such a nice pack. I love this pack. My wife and kids got this for me. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I pack this. I take this emergency bivvy, poncho, and the balaclava, and I put them right in this front pocket here. This flashlight, and I'm gonna shove it down in there with them. Okay, this pocket is my emergency go-to pocket if I need light, if I need a quick get out of the rain, if I need a shelter in that bivvy. So for the other miscellaneous items, I will generally wear my sunglasses, so I'm gonna put them off to the side. This poncho slash shelter goes right in this mesh on the front here, and it goes with my Mora knife and my fire steel. These go right down in there with it, just like that. The headlamp and the life straw go in the brain. Sometimes I will even take the little pillow and I'll put that up there with it. For the sleep system items, I put the bigger ones at the bottom, but because I have the life straw out already, I put this at the very bottom of the inside of my pack. But now I will go and I will start putting in sleep system items. So here I've got my sleep pad, sleeping bag. I'll shove it down as far as it'll go down there. I'll put this in the front there. I don't want to go too far sideways with them because then the side pockets, which I will use, end up becoming unusable. I've got my hammock. I'll throw the hammock in there. Sometimes I'll take the straps out of that and just use paracord to hang the thing up. And then I'll take my cook system on top of all that. I'll put that in there. And that comes up to about the top of the frame in this pack. I'll slip this back in where I said earlier, the very back. But now for the outside. My saw goes in one side pocket, tucked behind those straps. It really depends on which one I'm taking. Either way, they're gonna go on the side like that. Now I've got all this done and packed up. At the top, I still have room for some dehydrated meals up here. I still have room for some food. Cinch the top of that, pull the head over, and we're set. Again, this whole pack, when said and done, is usually about 35 pounds. It's not light. It is not an ultralight setup, but you have more than everything you need to not only survive, but also thrive out in the wilderness. This is my pack that I take on bushcrafting trips, on some backwoods campouts. Very useful, and it hasn't let me down yet.